There was a phrase that we were all brought up with to give credit where credit is due. But sometimes for some people it's the most difficult thing in the world because they don't want to give the credit to the person because of feelings they have about them. Let me explain. We're all humans and we make mistakes, and there's some mistakes that I've made, and there's some certain members of the family don't even have anything to do with me because of those mistakes, so they're hung up on it. And this is stuff that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. Moved on. Everything's cool. For the most part, everybody pretty much accepted the fact that things change, people have to grow out of situations and move on. But then you have those few that are still stuck on stupid. They're still stuck on being grudgeful and being angry about that one thing. And little do they know that I already know that they've got some dirt that they're hiding as well. I brought my demons out in the open and I tackled them, and they have yet to do it with theirs. So I heard through the grapevine a little while ago, see what I used to do before the world situation happened. I was an insurance analyst for a claims auditing company. We would have different claims, and we would just go through all the numbers and make sure everything is in order. So we have contract with major automobile insurance carriers. And based on their guidelines, we would just go through all the paperwork. We're kind of like the middleman, And it helps speed it up processing of claims, because once upon a time, it used to take at least a month or two before anybody got anything from an accident. But because of auditing services that we provide, we're able to allow people to get paid within a week or two. So it reduced the processing time when they outsourced the services to us. So I heard about this particular relative getting involved in an accident. And of course, it was just a regular accident. Nobody was hurt or anything, but, they were trying to go through the settlement situation. And I asked one time about it, and they're like, oh, I'm okay, everything's fine, everything's fine. And I was trying to explain to them the process because they were a little frustrated as to what's going on. They weren't exactly sure. And they didn't have complete knowledge of the process. So, I'm just trying to be helpful out of the kindness of my heart, providing the insight that I had to help them understand. Well, this person was, before I could even say anything, I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. And I could sense right away the reason why they said that is because he didn't want to take any advice from me. See, they figured because I made that mistake ages ago that all of a sudden I'm instantly stupid, I'm instantly crazy, and that they're so disappointed and frustrated and aggravated in me, they just feel that they don't need to take any advice from me on anything. So I went ahead and I just left it alone. Well, I found out sometime later that they finally did get a settlement, but it was significantly less than what they could have held out for. See, I knew a little bit about the arbitration process as well. And I knew about estimates because that's what we were exposed to every single day. And this person wound up settling for way less than what they could have. They could have got at least $1,500 more on the claim, but they didn't know that. Just to think what would have happened if they just sat down and listened to what I had to say. But they didn't. So I say this to say this. You might be disappointed with somebody in the family because they did X, Y, Z. If they made a mistake and they haven't done anything like that again and moved on, what you need to do is open up your heart and forgive them, because at least they identified their mistake and they're not out there doing it anymore. The ones you have to worry about are the ones that are still in the midst of the bullshit and they won't do anything to change. Those are the ones you need to worry about, because those are the ones that are a constant source of trouble. But what you need to do is, if you don't want to deal with that person, don't deal with them at all. Don't contact them at all until you know in your heart you're really willing to treat them as a human being. And it doesn't matter where you come from or what your circumstances are. First of all, that situation that person was involved in had nothing to do with this person's accident. Two totally different things, two totally different scenarios. It could have been anything, for the simple fact this person had that information, but because it was that person, they didn't want to hear anything they had to say. So they lost out on some money. So needless to say, I don't communicate too much with that person anymore at all, and it doesn't hurt me nary one bit, because that tells me right there, if you want to go around and say that you're a Christian and that you're God-fearing and the whole 9 yards, and you're acting like this and won't even open up a dialogue or have any communication with me, and you automatically think I'm just this horrible person because of something that I repented to my Creator for and moved on, well then, you know what, I don't need you in my life, because you're beneath me. You really are. And some of us need to take that attitude and leave these people the hell alone. Whatever they go through, they go through. Because that's being petty, immature, and small. Now, I don't know why I have had it in my heart to say that, because there are some people right now that, they kind of feel a little less than. They feel like they're reliving the hell that they went through, even though they've been forgiven by their Creator. Every time they get around these people, they're constantly reminded of that pain, and it's not fair. And these are the same people that are so self-righteous, saying that they believe in the Lord in the whole 9 yards. And what they're doing is they're committing one of the sins that God turns his back on. You got to be careful of the hypocrisy. It comes in many forms, people. So what I say is to say this: if you've moved on and everything is good and you're being blessed, honey, you go ahead and you take them blessings and don't worry about anybody who's got a so-called opinion about you, because they're going to get theirs. But little do you know, when you place judgment on people like that, you're committing a sin as well. And to the ones that are doing it, you need to check yourselves, because you're playing around with spirituality, and I think that's a bigger sin than that one mistake that person has redeemed themselves for. You're really in for something. There's something wrong with you. You need to go see somebody about that. Just saying.